Germany! That's right. It's time for another critically acclaimed, massively anticipated Germany vlog. So let's go. And in this one, there are some trains, some stupidity, some buildings, some trees, me facing one of my biggest fears, some weird German animals, an upside down house that almost made me puke, and then finally some locals with some astonishingly strong booze. So let's get into it. Now, if I did my job right, this should sound like one of the most exciting German vlogs I've done so far. And that's because this was one of my favorite days of the entire trip. But it didn't start out that way. It actually started out with something that we were extremely inexperienced with, which are trains. No one in South Africa takes the train unless they absolutely have to. And we've been fortunate enough to not have had to. So yeah, trains, no. But anyway, on this day, we were supposed to meet up with some friends in Straubing, a city just outside of Regensburg. We bought a particular train ticket, which was around 32-ish euros, and it would allow us to travel anywhere in the Bavaria region between the hours of 9 in the morning until 3 the next morning. So it seemed kind of perfect because it was for both of us, me and my girlfriend, and it was the cheapest option that we had. So yeah, the day started off way too early for my liking, after which our hosts dropped us off at the Weiden station, and that's where things first got a little complicated. See, the ticket we bought was only valid between 9 and 3, like I explained, but our first train was actually leaving at 8:58. So we could have risked it and just gotten on the train and maybe no one checked the ticket before our next stop, which would then be valid with the ticket we had. But we decided not to, so we got another ticket that cost us around €6 that would be valid until just the next stop. So yeah, we just got that ticket. And then we got on the train, and it was a very pleasant experience. We had a lot of space, the scenery was amazing. It was just a really cool trip. But since we were so inexperienced and neither of us actually spoke German, when the announcer said something about Lue Wildenau or something, and that would be the first stop, and after checking our tickets saying that our first stop is in Lue, we idiotically assumed that we would need to get off at the first stop. So we did. It was a mistake. We were not supposed to get off in the town at all, and that became very apparent the second we got out of the train. Now, I'm sure the small town of Lue Wildenau, or however you pronounce that, is actually pretty great, but it was not great for us. Because we got off where we were not supposed to and realized that immediately, we were starting to freak out. Michelle was having a panic attack. I had to calm her down and assure her that this is not that big of a deal, even though I was also freaking out on the inside. And the reason we were freaking out was because we had no idea when a next train would be coming, or if there was going to be a next train that day. The town was completely desolate. Like, the ticket counters were closed, there was no one around anywhere. It was an actual ghost town. Like, except for maybe this one weird old lady who was sweeping the street with a piece of metal, which made an extremely weird sound that freaked us out even more. And there was just literally no one around to ask. And even if we did, there was no guarantee that they would understand us. And what fueled our paranoia even more was that we come from a country where if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and don't know what you're doing, bad things are probably gonna happen to you. So in our South African mindset, we were about to get murdered. Like, no doubt, we were gonna get murdered. But we didn't, of course. I'm here, hello, I'm fine. But then when you remember that we actually have an app that tells you when trains are going and where, and according to that app, there was indeed another train coming. it would just take about an hour to get there. Now, this wouldn't normally be an issue if we didn't have anything to do, but we had friends waiting for us that made arrangements for us to be there at a certain time. So it sucked a lot. But since we had nothing better to do than just wait, we took a couple of photos, a few selfies, and eventually we finally saw the train pulling up, and we were so friggin' happy. So we hopped on that train and we're thankfully safe. But in another hour and a half-ish, we had to get off at a stop in Regensburg and then catch another train which was heading to Straubing, our actual destination. Unfortunately, that next train was leaving around 5 minutes after our train arrived. And between finding the location of where we need to be and running upstairs and running across bridges just to get there, we're pretty sure we missed that train. Because we didn't really know whether we missed the train or whether it was running late, we stayed there hoping that the train would eventually show up. And we did that for about an hour. Then a train did arrive, but my gut told me that we wouldn't be able to take it because it looked like a bullet train. And when I asked one of the guards outside the train whether we would be able to take the train with our ticket, he confirmed and said, no, we are not allowed to take it at all. So yeah, we thought we were pretty screwed. Luckily, throughout the whole thing, we kept in touch with our friends, and they eventually realized that we are actually morons. So instead of allowing us to take another train to God knows where, they actually offered to come pick us up in Regensburg and take us to Straubing, where we were actually supposed to be going. After meeting up with our friends, they took us to their house in Straubing, which is where we quickly realized that they were waiting for us for a very long time. They actually had a full German-style breakfast planned out for us. And apparently during the time we were being idiots on trains, they were actually bringing the food out to the table, bringing it back into the kitchen, and bringing it back to the table the entire time. So felt really bad about that. And after getting full on some German schnackage, we were actually taken to Straubing's Old Town, which is very similar to Weiden's Old Town. And if you don't know what Old Town is, it's just the oldest part of the town. Like, they're thousands of years old most of the time, and they are absolutely beautiful. And while we were there, our friend's mom actually played tour guide for us and explained the history of the town, and especially this one tower in the middle of the town that everyone absolutely loves, and you will get knocked out if you say anything bad about the tower. But after that, we went to what is now one of my favorite places on the entire planet. I have no idea where exactly it is. I'll ask and probably put it somewhere. But it is basically an actual forest, something I don't think I've ever been to in South Africa. It's just not the same thing. It's a very movie-like forest. But in this forest, and the main reason we went, was a bridge lookout kind of thing that was built to have you look out over the trees and off into the distance, and the views were absolutely incredible. But I'm also absolutely terrified of heights, and it was one of the scariest places I've ever been. One particular part of this bridge had a section where you can actually see through the bottom, and I decided to face my fear and actually cross that. Oh yeah. The sounds are very encouraging. was not great. And after appreciating all the amazing views that place had to offer, we moved on to the next thing, which was an upside down house. Because why would there not be an upside down house randomly in a forest? It really felt like something out of Black Mirror, like the experience of being in there with all these things just being on the ceiling that should be on the ground. My brain was not having it. I was not enjoying it. I almost puked at least 5 times. Especially this one friggin' room where it really does feel like you're walking on an inverted roof, because the floor is inverted and there is some trickery going on to make it feel like you can't actually stand anywhere. I kept falling over. It was terrible. But yeah. After leaving the forest, we made our way to a little brewery. I'm not sure if you would call it a brewery, whatever. They make schnapps there. And we decided to try some, which was a bad idea because I think the strongest one we tried was about 90% proof or something. Anyway, whatever, it was really disgusting. But the place was also kind of a gift shop, so we spent some time there getting gifts for our friends and family, and it was just really cool to hang out with our friends. Now, I'm not sure whether it's because we have proven to be absolute morons, but our friends also just offered to drop us off at the Regensburg station, which we would have probably not been able to get to by ourselves, because, again, we are morons. They even walked us all the way to our train and made sure we got on the right one, and they were just the most amazing people. And yeah, the rest of the night was pretty uneventful, but it was definitely like one of the all-time favorite days I've had in Germany, and it was all thanks to our friends. So yeah, thank you so much. When you come to South Africa, we got you, fam. And also thank you to each and every one of you who decided to watch this vlog of me walking around in my backyard. The growth on this channel has been so friggin' amazing these last few days, and I couldn't be happier. Your guys' support is so unimaginably appreciated. You don't even know. But yeah, if you aren't subscribed already, please do so. Hit the like button, share the video if you think there's someone else that might want to watch it. And if you want to really support the channel and ensure that I can keep making these videos for you guys, then please head on over to my Patreon and pledge $1, pledge whatever you can. Every little bit helps. And yeah, again, you guys are amazing. I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you guys. So, I don't know. Love ya. Bye. Bye-bye.